We can do it. Yes, we can. We can change things throughout the land. But we all must lend a hand. We can do it. Oh, yes, we can.
For some time, we've had an ongoing campaign in our city outside of Bath Ironworks, which is owned by the General Dynamics Corporation. And our campaign has been to talk about the warships, the destroyers that are built at Bath Ironworks, BIW, and where they go. They go to places like Jeju Island in Korea, where we've established a relationship with that community for some time. Several Mainers have gone there repeatedly over the years to stand with those people as they were protesting against the construction of a Navy base in their community that is part of this U.S. pivot to Asia to essentially encircle Russia and China. So we go to the shipyard frequently, especially during times of christenings, to oppose these warships as they're sent off in our name. And we've held civil disobedience the last two times. In 2016, we had 12 people arrested. In 2017, there were 9 more arrested. And just in recent days, a Superior Court justice in Bath, in court in Bath, at our trial, dismissed the charges, saying that the Bath Police Department had essentially been outsourced to Bath Ironworks and was not following our constitutional rights. We didn't try to enter the place. We walked up to the main gate. We turned around. We're holding our signs. The state alleged that we tried to enter the place and they stopped us from entering, but it wasn't true.
Basically, the police department is outsourced to BIW on these events, and it was pretty clear that Lieutenant Savory was taking his direction from Mr. Solinsky, and basically arrests were going to be made or not based upon how he proceeded. And that's not how this is supposed to work. Under these circumstances, I don't believe a fact finder could find beyond a reasonable doubt that this was a lawful order, that it was given for objectively reasonable reasons. And as a result of that, the court is going to grant the judgment, motion for judgment of acquittal in regards to all of the defendants.
At the same time that this trial has been in motion and moving forward to its culmination just a couple days ago, we've also been campaigning against a request by General Dynamics for $60 million of Maine taxpayers' money, corporate welfare. They say they have to have it in order to be able to continue to be competitive so that they can keep Bath Ironworks open. But when we look at the numbers, General Dynamics has been selling back its own stocks since 2009, $12.9 billion, that's with a B, worth of its own stocks they've sold back, driving up the value of the stocks, increasing executive compensation packages, which are based on the value of stock. And so it's really an inside baseball effort on the part of General Dynamics to make themselves richer. And now they're one of the top 3 or 4 weapons corporations on the entire planet Earth. So surely they don't need $60 million from a shaky little poor state like Maine. And in fact, at the same time, they're going to Connecticut asking for $150 million, and they've already extracted millions from Rhode Island and from Kentucky as well. So it's a corporate strategy to increase their profits, and this is on top of the recent tax cut they got in Washington from Trump's tax bill. And it's interesting that in the state of Maine, that this bill, this $60 million welfare bill for General Dynamics, is being introduced by 2 Democrats, one of which was very vocal on her tweets during the whole federal bill debate in Washington. And the question of our Senator Susan Collins, a Republican in Maine, would she vote for it or against it. And this one state senator from our area that is supporting this General Dynamics welfare bill was complaining about Collins' position on that bill, right? As she should be, frankly. But then when it comes back here to Maine, a similar bill, not quite as grand as the tax cut bill in Washington, but still the same thing, and will hit our state very hard, $60 million loss will, she's now supporting it. So it's a real contradiction. So we're seeing Democrats in this state really neutralized to a considerable extent because two members of their own party are initiating and putting forward this General Dynamics welfare bill. We're making this video really with the intention to inform you about what's going on, give you an update, but also to urge your participation and help as we try to stop this. And the only way we're going to stop it is to get the people of Maine, first of all, to know about it. Most people don't even know about this $60 million corporate welfare bill for General Dynamics. So we need more letters to the editor across the state. And we also need people to immediately call their state representatives and state senators and tell them, no way, this LD 1781, no way it should pass. No way that we can afford to give $60 million to General Dynamics. We can't afford to give this money to a corporation that doesn't need it, and they're just going to use it to drive up their own executive compensation packages. I've been living in Maine for now 15 years, and during that period of time, I've attended well over 100 protests at Bath Ironworks, some of which I've organized and some of which other people have organized. But all of them have been about calling essentially for a change, a conversion of the shipyard to help us deal with our real problem today, which is climate change. We could be building rail and wind turbines and tidal power systems at Bath Ironworks. So it makes sense that we would begin this transition at this time, that if we don't very quickly, we're running out of time, and that we've got to make a change now. In fact, just as I speak today, the Maine 350.org, the largest climate change group in the state, has endorsed this campaign against LD 1781, sent around a message, sending it to the media. So it's been really wonderful to have them on, because they're saying that we've got to make this transition at Bath Ironworks because of climate change. I would say that, you know, over the years, we've been writing letters to the papers, we've been writing letters to Congress, we've been asking for meetings with our congressional representatives in Washington. We've done all the things that you're traditionally supposed to do in terms of participation in a democratic society, and none of it is having any effect. And so we've really come to our wits' end and decided that we really have to step up our nonviolent campaign to oppose these ships and this kind of culture of militarism that is only worsening. And here we are now in this very moment. Our government is talking about nuclear war almost like it's an acceptable thing, and it's okay, we can do it. From Henry Kissinger to Donald Trump and Mad Dog Mattis, Secretary of War. I mean, all these people, they're talking about nuclear war like it was nothing, like it was just a Sunday picnic. And so we think that we, the citizens, have to step it up in order to help more people become engaged in this issue. Because frankly, most of the mainstream media doesn't want to cover these issues that we're talking about right now. And so on these last two occasions, in 2016 and 2017, we decided to step onto toward the front gate of Bath Ironworks at the time of the christening ceremonies. We actually didn't try to enter, but we knew we were risking arrest. But we walked up to the public gate, public access gate, where the public is invited. We walked up there with our signs, turned with our backs to the gate, and stood there. So as people were coming into the facility, they would see our signs, couldn't look away the way when we're across the street. It's very easy for people to look away, to ignore us. But when you're standing there in front of the public access gate, then that's another story. And in our trial, One of the reasons I believe that the judge dismissed it is because the state said that this case is simple. It's about them trying to enter the facility, which actually we didn't try to do. And on a video that we showed the jury, it's quite clear that we didn't. We just stood in front of the gate with our signs so people could read it. So this was a real victory for the Constitution, for our First Amendment rights, the right to assemble, the right to speak out, the right to talk about issues in our community. That's what America is supposed to be all about. We're just trying to put that into flesh and blood. No secret that today our nation is addicted to military production, to militarism, to war. The number one industrial export product of America today is weapons. And when weapons are your number one industrial export product, what's your global marketing strategy for that product line? Well, the answer is clear. The more war, the more money we make. And that's where we're at today. And so this massive military budget that when you add it all up and add up all the pieces of it, it's $1 trillion a year. 56 cents of every discretionary federal tax dollar now going to the military. And that's growing. In fact, Trump this year gave the Pentagon even more than they asked for. So there's not going to be any money left literally for anything else the way we're going today. And so if we're going to protect the future generations, if we're going to protect our children and grandchildren so that they have education and health care and things like that, we the parents, we the citizens are going to have to intervene here and begin to change things. And sometimes that means you got to get out on the street and do it because everybody is ignoring you, the politicians, the media, everybody's ignoring you, hoping you'll go away. So in the end, myself on behalf of everyone else that's involved in this long-range campaign to convert Bath Ironworks, to stop this corporate welfare for General Dynamics, the $60 million bill that's now sitting in Augusta inside the Taxation Committee, I'm pleading with you to help us in any way you can. Use your imagination and pour your heart into giving this effort a boost so that we can save the taxpayers of Maine $60 million that can be used for the clear needs in our state today. Thank you.
We can do it. Yes, we can. We can change things throughout the land, but we all must lend a hand. We can do it. Oh, yes, we can.